Hello everyone, I hope that life is treating you fairly, and I welcome each and everybody to this tutorial whereby we are going to elaborate what do we mean by structures. And the programming language that we get to use, it's C programming. If you are new to programming, I recommend you that you first view the first tutorial, which is about introduction to C programming, whereby I have just shown you the structure of a C program. And also after that, it is also highly recommended that you also see or even watch the tutorial on the arrays, because arrays and structures, they are having some similarities but also some differences. But if you know how to manipulate the array, also structures will not be difficult for you. Let's get started. So when we say a structure usually is nothing other than a collection of values, but those values will be of different data types. This is what they say here. A structure is a collection of variables or variable values, but those variable values will be of different data types, which means the data type of the properties of the members of a structure, they will be different, but then all of them, they will be treated under a single name. It is the same as what we have seen in the array. So the array also, it will be a collection, the collection of different variables or even variable values, but then all of them, they will be of the same data type. For example, if you say, for example, int array, and which means here we'll be having some values which can be 1, which can be 3, which can be 4, which can be like 52, something like this, or something else, but then this all will be of the same data type. So then we have seen that then it is very difficult to just receive or even retrieve some variable values of different data types with the arrays. And this is why today we are going to talk about the structure. So a structure, then how can we create a structure? When you are going to create a structure, use struct keyword. After this struct keyword, then you will have like the definition, standard or model of defining a structure. The syntax of defining a structure is you need to put this struct as the keyword, and here you put the structure name, and thereafter you open this uh, parenthesis, and after opening this parenthesis, then you just put or input. Okay, the way we create a structure, we need to put this struct keyword, then here we put the structure name. We define or we specify where the members of the structure will be by opening this symbol, and then we close it here. And remember that at the end we need to have this semicolon. So an example can also be like this one, struct student. So the student, this one you can even just put any name that you want. It depends on the variable or even just what you are coding for. Hope you're understanding. So which means if you are going to create like a structure of an animal, you cannot put student here, you put struct animal, and in the animal you can put the properties of the animal. So for example, here we are having car names, int id, and also float marks, which means for this student is having these properties, all the members of student structure. So let us go practically to even just see how these things are working. So here, as we know, the very first thing to be done in C program, it is first of all to define the preprocessor. So after defining the preprocessor, then we can go ahead with anything that we want. So we know that then we need to use include keyword, and the preprocessor or the library that we know that is standard, it is the one that I'm going to use, which is standard input output dot header. So after this, let me say for example that we are having our main function, and our main function, we are having everything in here, and because it is integer, it is returning integer, I need to return something which is of type integer, for example 0 or any other number, but this number it should be an integer. Let me say, for example, struct. Yes, so this is our this if you have seen you've watched the first tutorial, this is the structure of each and every C program. But remember that here you need to put your own statements. Yes, so if we are going then to create a structure, we have seen that we use struct keyword, and after this struct keyword we can put like the name of the structure, then we open and we close where the members of our structure will be. And here we can have the int id, then here we can have cal names, and cal names, for example, we are having the names of 30 things. Then after this, then we can have also float max. So as you can see here, we have seen that all, or when we are talking about functions, whatever which has been declared inside a function will only be understood inside that function. So assume that here we are going uh, to create like save one. This is save one, and let me say save one value in structure. So this is an example. So we are going to write a function save one value in a structure. This is a function. So because this structure has been created or defined inside the main function, it cannot be understood here. So what are we going to do? We need to cut this one and then we make it global as a global declaration. I hope you're understanding. I hope you got what I mean. So usually the reason why I'm taking this out of main, it is to make this accessible to all the functions in my program. I hope you get my point. So after this one then, so my main function usually it is there to receive some function. So assume that then here I am going to call or even just to use this function, sorry, this structure. So remember that here we've said this is how we define the structure. But then again, we need to know how do we access the members of our structure. So after defining your structure like struct student, then you will need to understand that those variables inside the structure, it is what we call structure member or the properties of the structure. So then here, if you want then to have access to any member of the structure, we use the member access operator, which is the dot. And the member access operator will be coded as a period or as a dot between the structure variable name and also the structure member. And if you wish to access to that member, then you would use the keyword struct to define the variable of the structure type. So we are going to talk about this. How do we do this and how do we deal with this? Okay, so they have said that we need to create a member. For example, let me call this student information structure. Okay, I hope you're understanding. So this is the structure name, and usually you can just put any length. You can make it of any length. Are we together? So then if you are going to save, you can first of all say, okay, as this is a big name, I want to make it shorter. I want to make it smaller. So I can come here and then I will just say struct student information. As you can see here, I need to copy this one, and after copying this one, then I can come here and I call it st. So which means I am taking the whole name, the full long name, and I'm converting it into a simple and small variable name. So after having this st as the variable name, which means then I will access to the members of this structure not using this long name but using this short name. And as you can see here also, here I will be having like a void save one. Here also I can also have void save many, something like this. And here also it will require me to have another definition of this one. So as long as then this one also will be needed in all the functions, I can just remove it from here and I make it globally defined. Then I will come here, I can come here and I make it like globally defined here. But this one, it is not recommended. The recommended one is that you come here and you only put that name and the deal is done. I hope you'll get in me. So this st, it is also understood as this whole name. If you want, you can either use this st or this whole name. Okay, let us go to save one. So remember that we are going to save the values. We are going to save the values of from the user to this structure. So then this save one, save and display. Let me say save and display, something like this. So if then you're having like this one, so we are going to tell to the user printf like enter student information. So when you tell to the student, we tell to the user to enter the student information. So then uh, we can have like something like this, and then thereafter we can have another thing like this. So enter student information. We want to get this student information. So which means then here first I can just give a hint to the user to know what is the first. So for example, enter student ID. So enter student ID. Then from here, I can come and then I say, okay, I'm going to get the student ID. Remember that student ID is of integer, and if it is integer, the data type specifier for integer is %d. And also remember that if you are going to get any numerical value, you need to provide this ampersand. And here you need to, we have said that here, if you want, this is what they have said here, if you want to access to any member, you will need to use the member access operator, and it is coded as a period between what? Between a structure variable and the structure member, which means what is the structure variable here in our case? I hope you get me. So what is the structure variable? It is this one. What is the structure members? These are the ones. So which means then we will be saying st.id. I hope you get my point. So the same then as we have done like this one. So then the same we are going to do for the remaining. So here, secondly, we'll be asking the user to enter student name. And lastly, we'll be using last not but not least for the marks. And we are done with everything. So which means here, other than saying st.id, then here we'll be having st.names. And remember that for the names, we are not just called to put the ampersand. So here then, and also you need to remember that for the characters, the data type specifier for character is %s. If we go next, I am sorry, I'm just changing from where I wasn't to change, but I can even just copy like this one, then I paste it here, and then I take like this one, then I take it here. So to make it very easy, so enter student name, then I have just got the name. So the last one, it is enter student marks, and remember that for the marks it is %f, and also because it is numerical I need to put this ampersand, and then here I will come just I say marks. So which means here I am able to get these values into this. So assume then that we are going to display, so assume that we are going to display. So let me just put like a closure, like a closing line to show to the user that I am closing. And then after, I am going then to print out a message telling to the user that we are displaying. So student info is all R as follow. So something like this. Then after, I will be having like printf, my printf, and in my printf I will be having %d percentage s and percentage, for example, long float. Just I want to make it like only dot 2 lf, which means I want only two numbers after the comma. So after this one, then I can have this st dot id, st dot names, st dot max. You got my point, right? So after getting this, which means then I am able to get this information. So remember that we said that if you are creating your function behind main, then you need to prototype your function. So which means then I need to come here and I prototype my function. So then if I am done with the prototyping, then you need to come, then you call it inside main. So assume that then I want to make this function of mine small, like let me call it only save one. So which means then I'm going only just to change where there is save this long message, this long function. Then I only just call it like this, and assume that here also I'm going to say it is only student, not something like that big. Okay, so we are done. So which means then here I can now run my program to see the output. So here you can see that here there is a question, there is a problem, and what is this problem? You can just come here to view and then to view logs, then you see what is this thing. The problem is save one. In function says struct student has no member named and names st. So which means then here I have used names st. Are you getting my point? So which means then here I need to have like a comma to separate these things. It was the only error. Errors usually they are not bad because they shows you the way to troubleshoot, and even also you get to understand much better when you have some errors. So assume that we get this guy, and this guy is called, for example, Hail Senti, and here you can see okay, Hail Senti, then enter the max, then we're done. So usually here there is an error. And what is the error? So we are able to get like these names, we are able to get like these names, but then after the names we are not getting what, we are not getting the marks. So then the problem, you can just why this. Okay, usually when you are using scanf, uh, like if you are using scanf and then you are writing like senti hail, so like this it will just ignore the next thing that you are entering. And then here if you are using scanf, remember that you are not allowed to put this blank space. So if you want to use blank space, then you need to use gets. I hope you remember this one, and you can even just refer to this in the previous tutorial talking about string handling. So which means then here I need only to provide like one name, and thereafter I will be able to continue with my next thing. So the student information al id, and also this one you can see 2020. So this is not, it is not good, it is not good as to see it. So here I can say id. So here then I can say names, and lastly I may say max. So here after the id I can say, oh, let me just have like a tab to just differentiate these things. Then also here after okay, id percentage d, then I have this tab, and we are done. And so for example we just make like this one, and okay, I am done. So for now then I am able to keep track to my one entered thing. So let me say this is centi and the max is 20. So it will tell me that student information info all as this one. So ID is equal to 1, names is equal to this, and then max is equal to this. So I'm sorry, here I didn't even just put something. I have forgotten to put something before that. Okay, so ID is this one, then names is this one, then max is as that. So we are done. So as you can see, we are able to save one like one object into our structure, right? So you can see ID is this one, the names is this one, and the max is this one. Okay, so we are done. So we can then understand how do we access the member and also how can we display these things. So this is how we can save one student. So assume then that we want them to keep track to many students. So it is the same. It is the same. I can only copy this one. After copying this one, then I am going to, I want only just to paste them here. Remember, we want to save how many values? We want to save more than one value. And if you remember very well, we have seen that if you want to save many values, then you need to use the help of a loop. So we can say, for example, while for example I is less than n, then it will just do like this. Or I may even just say, okay, let me just use like an endless loop to be sure about this, not to be not to just block the user to this. So assume that I'm telling to the user, so whenever the user wants you, the user will say, oh, I want to stop, something like this. Okay, so after saving everything, so I will just say, I will just ask the user, plaintiff, do you want to save another? Then here I can say, I can tell to the user, okay, let me just end from here. Then I can just ask the user, plaintiff, press 1 to continue and 2 to stop, to continue, for example, continue saving, and 2 to stop. So then here I may say, okay, good, let me have like something like here which is int ch, which is like choice, and here I can just get the user's input in that choice, like %d then ch. So I can say then, if let me say, for example, if ch is equal to 2, then what will I do? I may say, if ch is equal to 2, I may even just say, okay, let me go out of the loop. But then I don't want to go out of the loop. I want just to continue. So this why then here I may say, okay, if like my ch is equal to this, then I can say, oh, let me break from this one. So after breaking, which means after going out, then I can say, let me just display out my values. So then remember that the display, it is only this one. So I will only copy this let me just come here. I will only copy this like this one. I copy like this one. So which means then after going out of my loop, I may have again a loop like which is a for loop, or even I can even just display from there, right? Whenever the user finishes to display or even to insert, I can display. But for us, let us just not use like this while loop, because the while one, let me say for example um, while I is less than n. This is an example, and we are going, I will be helping us as the counter, and n will be helping us as the size. So here then, before doing anything, I will ask the user, please specify the size. Please specify the size, and then here, remember that I need to have like the code to receive the size from the user. And here I'm going to put percentage %d. Then here we'll be having the ampersand n. Okay, so after just having this one, so which means I'm able to get this one, and also my I, let me say that for example my I is going to start from 0. And other than doing like this one for this canif, and okay, for this one, for do you want to do something, let me just only put my I plus plus. So I'm done. So the same, I can have like another one from here, and it is outside of my loop. Or even here, let me just use two types of loops, so that you can even remember all the two types. So for example, for I is equal to 0, I less than n, then I plus plus. So I am going to display all my things. So remember that my display will be nothing other than like this one. I'm getting only these ones. Okay, so there's something else that I want us then to know how to change. As you can see here, even if there is a loop, I can format. Even if here there is a loop, there is a while loop, but then here we are inserting in a primitive variable. So which means then here, if you want to make this as many, then we need to create like another, let me just say for example, so we need to create like another user defined variable like std, or like s something, and then I initialize it to, for example, 100, which means I am expecting these savings not to be more than 100. So then after this s, or yes, after this s, then here you understand that then I will come here, then for I, you get my point, right? I make it as an array so that it can hold many values. Otherwise, it will not work. It will not work. So then here, other than displaying from here, I'm not in need of display, not in need of displaying. So then I can come and then I make it then again here. So which means it is not std, st, it is only s of that I. You get my point, right? Yes, I am sure that you got me. Okay, then from now you can understand that then we are done. So what have we done? What we have done only, it is like, so after this, let me say that we need to print a new line, something like this. We print a new line. So let me try to run. So but then before running, you understand that this save many, it is not, it didn't been called. We didn't call it inside our main. So which means then I need to come here in my main. Then other than calling this save one, let me comment this one. Then I only call my save many. So I am done. So let us try. Let's give a try to see. So please specify the size. Let me say for example 3. So enter the student information for this 3. And here, before just getting inside in this menu of mine, I just enter student information. Student details. So let me say for example the details. Number. Let me say for example like this one. Percentage D. And here I just put like I+1. I want to be specific about the students. If I have said 3 students, I need only just to go up to these 3 students. Let me say for example 3. So enter student details for number 1, ID 1, name Senti, max 20. So enter student details number 2. You get the point, right? This is 3. The name, for example, Gwiza. Then the max is 20. Enter student details number 3. So then, for example, fall. Then the names JP, then the max 10. So you can see that we got everything. So you understand that here we are having the student ID number 1, ID number 3, number 4. So all of them they are there. But then as you can see, our print for our display is not good. It's not that good. So which means there's something that I want to put. I need just to remove like this one, this line, because it is repeating itself inside here. So then I do it before my follow. So thereafter, for this, no problem. Let me run again. Let me say, for example, to students. Okay, you can see this is ID number 1. The names is this one. Okay, you can see now it is good just because we can be able to keep track to all the information at the same point. You got my point, right? So we can even just say, oh, other than just having it like this, let me have like something else. Let me try to just to configure like this thing. Then I see how everything will be working. Let me try like this. Usually this is the formatting only, the formatting of the message. Let me say for example ID, then put /n, names /n, then max /n. So which means, or not here, not here, it is not /n, it is /t. I want just to try like this one. So other than having this, I'm only going to have this, and I think it will work. Let me try. I'm sorry I didn't build and run. Okay, here there is no semicolon, and it was expecting a semicolon thereafter. So to student, for example, ID 1, and this is someone like Senti with 20 marks. This is the second guy who is like this one, 20 marks. So you can see that here, okay, wow, good. names, and okay, it is like now a table. So you can format your data according to what you want. So as you can see, then this is how we can just have access to this thing. So there's something then that I want you to understand. So assume that then, for example, we are having like the data like this. Assume that we are having the data like this. I'm going to show like the type of data. So for example, right now, what we are doing or what we can be having like for this case, it is like we are dealing with something like the data set like this one. The data set will be like here we are having student, which is our top structure. Then here we're having like something like this, names and also marks. Thereafter here we can have one, two, something. Here we can have centi. So this is like what we were doing, right? This is what we were doing, and after doing like this, you can see that, for example, we need something else. For example, after having this one, for example, we say, oh, we need like the address. Are we together? So if you want to have the address, you understand that, for example, if we need to put like to insert something like the address, let me come here and I say address. So you understand that I can ask you, what is your address? Oosh. In my head, then I say the street number. It is like this KK 241ST. If I ask you, what is your address? You can tell me, oh, my address is in Kigali, or for example, in Nyamata. I can ask you, what is your address? Oh, my address. My address, for example, is like the BP, like this one. So you understand that this address column, it is a multivariate. And if it is like this multivariate, you understand that itself, it's like another structure. Are you getting my point? I am sure you are getting me. So which means then, after having like these things, you can understand that the address itself, it's also like a what? Like a structure. Are you getting my point? I am sure that you're getting me. So if you get like this one, like something like this, then you understand that here it is, this is one variable, another variable, another variable. And someone also can tell me, for example, the house number. For example, you can tell me no, the like number 20, something like this. So you can see like this guy, he's telling me like different values, and this one, all they are varied because they are very useful in our research, for example, on something that we are doing. So which means then the address, as long as it is a multivariate, it will be like another structure. But remember that this is a structure inside another structure of student. This is what we call nested structures. So which means, for example, here, let me just go here and I say I want to keep track to the address. For the first time, it could have been like car address. But as we have seen, this car address, it is not like you cannot write it here. So we need to keep track to the so that we can have like separate things. Are you getting my point? So it could have been like this one, right? But then now it is not going to be like this because we have seen that it is also having many values. It is like a structure. So then I am done. I am going only just to come here and then I make it as also a structure. So as I have done for ST, here also I can make it for address. So then, for example, here I can have integer house number. You got my point? Yes. And here I can have car street. Okay, sorry. Let me just start with car street. For example, 30. So the house number usually will be coming after the street, something like that. And here can also have car province, something like this. So it depends on what they have told you to just put, right? You got my point, right? So then if then you want to access, like this is a structure inside another structure. So which means then if I am going then to access to these values, before I go to the display, I need first of all so to access to these values. So remember that we are going to have like other three things. So the first one, it is st because it is coming from this student structure, but again it is in address, and address is having this add, which means then here it will be st dot add dot house no. Hope you got my point, right? So which means then I will only just province, sorry, we start with the province, and here we'll be asking enter student original province, something like this. So we go next, and remember that if you are going to get for the province, we don't put this ampersand, and so we need to remember that is s. Secondly, we go to the street. Street is now here. So here then it means this will be street, but it will be st dot add dot street. So remember also that here it is percentage s and also student street address, something like this. So it depends. So the last one, it will be this one for house number, and we are done. So then if I come here for the house number, then for add, then type this house number, student, then house number, something like this. And remember that here this ampersand will be removed, and also this s will be like this. So after having like this one, so that means then we are done. We are done just to get like to these things. Do you get my point? Yes, I hope you get me. So then after doing it from this one, I need also to come here. So remember that here also you need to come and just change it. But let me just first also add it from here, right? Because here also it is needed. Yeah. So let me just come here, and I am done. So this is only just arranging my data so that they can be read very well. It doesn't change anything to my program, but then it increases the readability of my codes. So after getting to this, you understand that also you need to just add it to your display, right? So which means then here max t, then what is the next? The next is province t, street t, then house number, then n. So then in here, other than only having like these ones only, I will also have all the remaining, right? Province, district, and lastly but not least, it is the house number, right? House number. So we are done. So after putting the house number, there's only one thing that I need to make sure. What is that thing? It is that here I have added more. I have added more variables or more arguments. Then here also I need to make sure that I increase them. Okay, like this one. So I hope then we get the point, right? Okay, so as long as I have this one, so I am sure that here I am done with it. So the same as I have done here for the display of my save to many, then here also I need to make sure that I do the same. Yes, here also I need to make sure that I do the same. Okay, and I am done. Remember that this is my save one, and I need only just to come here and then I just put that thing there. Wow, everything is done. So remember that here I need to only just to increase the things, the what, like slash t province percentage s slash t street, it is this percentage s slash t, then the last one, which is the house, and from this house I will also put percentage s, and I am done. So I can be able then to run my program and also be able to keep track, specify the size, for example 2. So enter the details, enter the student ID like 1, student name Senti, student marks like 20. Here okay, the street, the house number 2. So here there is some errors in my in getting my data. Let me try to see. Oh, here I didn't put I didn't put the what, I didn't put the message, right? Only it is only coming here, and then I say enter student province. So after getting the student province, then I'm done. So for the house number, remember that is percentage D, and here I need to put the ampersand. Is it the same here? Yes, house number here, it is percentage D, and then I need to include the ampersand. Original province, then I'm done. So as you can see then here, the size, for example 2, ID 1, like the name, it is this Senti, max 20, the province, for example Kigali, the street address, it is KK 241 ST, the house number, I am living in house number 21. So I can go to the second student and also I'll be able to display. Second one is, for example, JP is getting like 19. The province, usually he's coming from LPV. The street address, I don't know if it is RB 232. House number, it is number 20. So here we can be able to keep track to these things, usually to the values. But then here there is a question or a problem on my display. So here plus there's something which are many or not many, or even just something that has been populated. Okay, the first one is I. Oh, I'm sorry, here I didn't use the same. In my display, it is not this one, sorry. I copy pasted and I didn't remember to change. Let me rerun. And here let me say, for example, one only, one with this Senti, max 20, province Kigali, street address, it is this KK241 ST, house number 21. So you can see that, okay, Senti with 20, things are coming like that. So let me just try to format like this. Other than having this percentage T, sorry, slash T, I have slash N. I want to keep track to what is not coming. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5, and I was expecting 6 things. 1, 2, 3. It is nothing. Okay, like something like this. And the last one, it is not percentage S, it is percentage D because it is the house number. So let me just put like here ID, names, max, province, then here it is street, and last but not least, it is the house number. Let me assume that it is this one. And if it is this, I am going only to comment that one. Let me see. Let me just put like another message here like this one. Like this one only. So this is for the formatting. Usually I want to display the things for the first student, then I go to the second student, to the third student, then in a logical order. So let me say for example only one, ID1. This is Senti, and Senti is from Ethiopia. Okay, here it is just enter student province. Oh, sorry, in Max I have mistaken. Only one, ID1. This is Senti, has got 20, and is from the province Arono. Let me say for example Kigali, something like this. The street address KK241 ST, the house number 21. So it will tell me then student number 1 is this one. If we are having 10 students, it could have shown me all the things. But the only problem that we do have here, it is that like these things, they are not coming. Province, street, and house number. So why? So I can ask you this question: why are we not getting the values from this one? Okay, if we go, usually the problem can be like in inserting, then the problem is in insert. Remember, when we are getting these things, it should be going into the array, but because of the copy paste that we've used, you can see here we're still using this st, so which means then this one is not working. So here it should be like this one, right? Good. So now we have the fullest of what we want. Let me run again and then we see what we have. 1, this is the guy again, Senti, who got 20, province from Kigali, the street number is ST241, KK241ST, house number 21. So you can see that all the things then are coming. So if you want them to put like 100 people, where do you want, whatever you want, then you can just get these things. So for example, I can just okay like if you want to add some other people, you can even just add them. You can even just use a loop so that you can be able to loop to these things. So usually guys, what we have done, we have seen how we can create like something like the structure. So we've seen that when we are creating the structure, we can create like a structure like this. We need to put this struct keyword, then the structure name. So we open where the members or the properties of the structure will be, and this is what we have called the user defined variable. So this will be playing the role of this whole student. If we write st, the system will understand that this is student. And we have seen that we can also have like an inside or a nested structure. So I can just, okay, let me just show what I'm going to do here. The same, I can even just write it like this. Even like this it works. So if you try to run, so you can just put like this one, the IDs, this one, the names and the marks, this, and also this, so you can see that everything is working. So you can also just, in order to increase the visibility of your program, okay, I'm sorry. So in order to increase the visibility of your program, you can even just define these structures in different ways like this. So you structure this, you define this structure. So then after getting here, you only just write like this. So the system will also understand the same. So which means you are calling the structure that you've just defined there before, and this one also works. It is the same, usually the same. It is playing the same thing. Can see that everything is working. So then this is how we can define the structure, and here we have got through the main, and also we have defined like some functions, save one and display, and also we can just have another one which is save many and display, something like this. And I need only just to change in here so that it can be called. And also remember to just save it here, not to save but to change. So we are done. So this is what we wanted to elaborate in function in structures. Then we've seen how do we define a structure, how do we access the members of a structure, how can we put some data, how can we display, how can we put like one data or even many data, and also we've seen how can we deal with nested structures. Thank you very much. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to just ask or even to leave your comment in the video description. Thank you, and I hope that then this tutorial will be very useful to you, and not only in C programming, because we use the same structure in all other programming languages, only we change the syntax. Thank you, and may the Lord bless you so much with yours. Bye bye.